you guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test. Test.
Test.
Test. Test.
5, 4, 3.
Fucking I'm going. And welcome back to Convincing Idiots. I am Millennial Nick alongside Gen X Brian and the Zennial Dean. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be discussing for our... your what?
My nipples.
That's right.
Isn't that what you're talking about?
Yes, because much like our country right now, Dean's nipples are very divided and far apart. But at the end of the day, we are all on the same body, and we need to come together and figure it out, right?
Way to recover. That's good.
Thank you. I can tie it back in. So it is a balancing act, right? Making these segues and tying things together, much like what we're going to talk about here, gentlemen. We're going to be discussing not necessarily superheroes, but rather their alter egos that they have to balance along with being superheroes. So they may be a certain superhero by night, but by day they are simply this person. And we would like to know which iteration of these characters that we like best, which portrayals. So Brian, why don't you go ahead and start us off with your first pick?
I'm going to start with my favorite version of Bruce Wayne. Of course, Bruce Wayne's alter ego of Batman. Michael Keaton, gentlemen. So Michael Keaton, I liked his version of Bruce Wayne because Bruce Wayne in those couple movies with Michael Keaton, that was him. Bruce Wayne was not trying to play up a version of Bruce Wayne. That was simply him being normal. And of course, he played up the character, his alter ego of Batman. So I like the fact that Michael Keaton recognized that, the house he lived in was ridiculously big and all the wealth and everything. I was just talking to Allie about this scene this evening, but I love the scene when he's on the first date with Kim Basinger in his house in that huge dining room.
That's fun.
And they're sitting at other ends of the table, and she wanted the salt. He had to pick up the salt, walk it down to her.
Right.
And then she's like, nice room. And he's just kind of sitting there like, yeah. And he looks around. He's like, you know what? I don't even know. I can't remember. I've been in this room before, something like that. So laughs about it. And they go take their dinner into the kitchen and have a nice intimate dinner at the kitchen table with Alfred. I'm like, that is a regular guy, Bruce Wayne. Michael Keaton played that role of Bruce Wayne so well. And that's what I love about it. So that's it. That's one of my favorite alter ego portrayals. Michael Keaton, Bruce Wayne.
Nice. Dean?
All right. I'm going to go a little beaten path here. I'm going to go Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock in the Daredevil series.
Yes.
If you would tell me that, that guy actually isn't blind or actually was blind, I believe you. I think his acting is, just gives that character gravitas, right? He does the he has that tortured, that all kind of the superheroes, all dark superheroes like that have. He's just it's just a perfect portrayal of the angst of like, do I want to be a Daredevil? Do I, I want to help people? There's a lot of things pulling at him. And I think that actor, Charlie Cox, is the perfect role for him.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm going to go, this was probably the easiest one for me to come to. Big Spider-Man fan. There have been a few different versions of Peter Parker over the years. when Tobey Maguire was playing Peter Parker, I liked him at the time, and I thought he fit that role pretty well. I really liked Andrew Garfield as the character, but my problem with him was that I felt he was a little too cool to be Peter Parker. Like Peter Parker is supposed to be kind of like a nerdy, not super self-assured kid, you know. They've got it right now in Tom Holland. There is no better version of Peter Parker, in my opinion. He absolutely nails it. He's quippy enough and witty enough when he needs to be, but he's also very believable as that super brainy kid that isn't always super comfortable in his own skin and is kind of figuring out things as he goes. And I just think he just looks the part. If you were to, I mean, show me a Spider-Man cartoon and was like, give me the live version of that, it's going to be a picture of Tom Holland. He looks the part. He plays the part well. He absolutely knocks it out of the park in everything I've ever seen him in as Peter Parker. So Tom Holland is my favorite Peter Parker.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that's a great one. I'll go on to Clark Kent. Clark Kent, my favorite portrayal of Clark Kent. I don't even think it's close, in my opinion, to the other roles here. Christopher Reeve as Clark Kent. We talked about this in other episodes too, I know, but Christopher Reeve understood the part of Clark Kent, and it's just, you know, some people say, you know, how could Superman be among people working day to day and just with a pair of glasses and people not recognize it's Superman? That's how you could do it if you played it up like the Clark Kent version that Christopher Reeve did. He's clumsy. He's not confident. He's very nerdy. He's unsure of himself. Even his posture he's slouching.
The perfect example, Brian, was that scene where he was about to tell Lois who he was, and he's confident. Lois, you know, that's Superman. The shoulders are up, and then as soon as he thinks different of him, he just, his posture and his face just change, and like you see the same actor in the same clothes and stuff change from Superman to Clark Kent. Like it's physical, like you could tell he probably went to some sort of like clown school, you know what I mean, mime school or something, to gain that, whatever that acting ability is, just in the body language.
Yeah, you're right. That one scene, he stands up, he takes the glasses off, and like you said, just the last second, he puts the glasses on, and he slouches back down with it.
Into Clark Kent. It's like he just falls into him. That scene alone is just fucking shows how good he was.
Absolutely. He's not confident. He's very nerdy. He's unsure of himself. Even his posture he's slouching.
The perfect example, Brian, was that scene where he was about to tell Lois who he was, and he's confident. Lois, you know, that's Superman. The shoulders are up, and then as soon as he thinks different of him, he just, his posture and his face just change, and like you see the same actor in the same clothes and stuff change from Superman to Clark Kent. Like it's physical, like you could tell he probably went to some sort of like clown school, you know what I mean, mime school or something, to gain that, whatever that acting ability is, just in the body language. Yeah.
You're right. That one scene, he stands up, he takes the glasses off, and like you said, just the last second, he puts the glasses on, and he slouches back down with it.
Into Clark Kent. It's like he just falls into him. That scene alone is just fucking shows how good he was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kind of the oversized suit to hide the muscles a little bit, and this and that. That's how I picture Superman. Of course, there's no other reason. But that's how I picture Superman if he was truly living among humans, that's how he views the average human, as unconfident, anxious, everything else. And he would blend right in, and you wouldn't even think about it. So tremendous acting by Christopher Reeve. Love that version of Clark Kent, and makes you miss Christopher Reeve to this day when you go back and think about how well he played both Clark Kent and Superman, for that matter. So
absolutely.
Yep. All right, what else you got, Dean? Go ahead.
I'm going to because I assumed that's where you would go, Brian. So I'm going Superman as well, but I agree with you on the Christopher Reeves, but I'm gonna take another path on this and say this new David Cornsweet kid does a damn fine job as Clark Kent.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give you the same kind of scene that kind of sold me on this was the interview scene where him and Lois were in the apartment giving the interview, where he, that different voice, and then but through that interview when he is switching up and talking to her as Clark and Superman, there is the same voice and posture thing happening, and it's also happening multiple times if you notice. And he kind of has that fumbling still. I like the hair in the face like the today's kids wear. That gives a modern touch to it. Right?
Today's kids wear.
What? That my fucking son has the same haircut as Clark Kent in the Superman movie. He wears the exact same. Actually, he put my glasses on and thought it was funny and took a picture. And he looks fucking same as that Cornsweet kid. He's got fucking hair in his face.
I have a few things to add on to that. First of all, I had him down on my list as well.
Okay.
Because like I said, I've seen one other Superman movie ever, so I don't have a frame of reference to match him up to other Supermen. But I did appreciate what you just said. This was from the different versions of Superman to Clark Kent. It was the most different. When I was like, oh, because like Brian said, how can you? He doesn't wear a mask. How does people not see he's got a fucking same face as Superman? But I did see in that movie when he's just a fucking tree of a man. He's in the one scene where he's walking. He's so much taller than everybody, but because I'm in that moment with his hair over his face and he's kind of you're like, okay, it's believable that you would not recognize that's Superman lost in the crowd because he is kind of not disguised, but he's hiding himself a little more than what I've seen other in film people try to attempt to do with Superman. So I really like that. And I thought he was really good. I thought, like you said, he was he did that. He kind of gave you a different vibe when he was Clark Kent. You could feel that. And my last thing on it is not related to the conversation at all, but rather, is his last name pronounced Cornsweet?
That's what I've heard.
I think it's Cornsweet.
Okay, because I was going to say it Cornsweet because I'm personally choosing not to believe his last name is pronounced Cornsweet. No. Because every time I hear somebody say it, I'm like, that can't be that fucking guy's name.
Cornsweet? Is it
Cornsweet?
That's how it's spelled anyway.
Cornsweet or something like that. Where you, but Cornsweet, I'm like, I've heard somebody. I think you guys, maybe you and Robin were saying it when we went to see it, and I'm like, Cornsweet? Not that guy. Is it really? So again, that's not related. That's not related to the character, but I did think he did a really good job. I was impressed.
All right, good.
But were you done? I'm sorry. Were you done on your Superman elaboration? Okay. Good. I figured while we were on the topic, I'm like, I'll pile on with that. Because he did a really good job. And like I said, that scene specifically, I was like, it makes sense to me in this how you could. Yeah. And even though he doesn't wear a mask,
he was still doing it. He was still giving the differences that you could tell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So was that your next?
He was one of mine. So do you want me to stay in step with you guys and go to Brian, or do you want me to go with another one?
I don't care.
We'll go to Brian and because that was one of mine. So
sure,
that's fine. So I'll sort of do. I mean, I had
Cornsweet on my list too.
Hashtag Cornsweet. Yeah.
Boy,
it is, for the record, it is spelled Corenswet. Corenswet. I like to dance with it a little bit and say Corenswet. I think that's good.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
David Corenswet.
Well, I'll add on to a prior one Dean had as well. I had Charlie Cox, also Matt Murdock. I think all the. I mean, there's not many comparisons. Certainly, you had Ben Affleck in the one movie. Yeah, but still, Charlie Cox really owned that role to where similar to other, Robert Downey is Tony. It'd be very difficult to picture anybody else playing Matt Murdock now in any capacity. And like you said, Dean, that the acting with him, he clearly has had to. He was practicing looking blind. I mean, when he's looking at people across from him, he's found a way not to focus. There's no eye contact,
Right.
with them. I mean, he's purposely looking somewhere else or what have you. Like you say, it's very believable as a blind person, and just plays, like you said, that tortured person very well. Like you could picture somebody in that situation where he's tortured on, he wants to be with his friends, he wants to form relationships, but then he has to keep a certain distance because he doesn't want people to get hurt, and
Right.
they're worried about him and this and that. And then just the fact that he's just, he looks beat up, he acts beat up, and that's exactly what someone would be if you were a person without superpowers like him getting beat up, you'd be in pain. And just great. And then just the scenes in the courtroom. You take those scenes in the courtroom as well, where he's a very good lawyer and debating and all that stuff is great as well. So just an absolutely perfect role. And I don't know what else to say. I mean, great job by Charlie Cox.
And you got to bang the She-Hulk, so good for him.
Yeah, that's the low point in that character. Certainly not his fault, but
Right.
I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't keep going down that wacky direction like they thought they were going to take him for a minute. That they were wise enough to rewrite that series and make it more like the original Netflix series, which is 1,000% better. So,
Oh yeah.
He banged the She-Hulk. That's a thing.
Yeah.
In the She-Hulk miniseries, he had a cameo there for a couple episodes, and they dated for a minute. So it's just very odd.
Okay.
He did walk of shame outside of her apartment, carrying his superhero costume under his arms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was silly.
It's strange.
All right.
So that's actually real. That's not a joke. That happened.
No, that happened on the She-Hulk series.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Oh, you got to see him in the yellow version of the suit temporarily, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just anyway. Yeah. Go ahead, Dean. What else? What's the next one you got?
All right, I'm gonna go with Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner.
Very good.
I know he, your guys' version of that of this list is that you're hiding it, but I didn't get that memo, or understand that part, so I went with Bruce Banner, played by Mark Ruffalo.
That's okay.
There's been other Bruce Banners out there, through TV, and one was David, but still, still the same character. I think Mark Ruffalo gives not just like this, Bruce Banner, but like anything he does, he just gives a general likability. He probably doesn't need to say shit. You just put him on screen and you like him. He has one of those. He has that Pedro Pascal likability to him. And he has the vulnerability and the fear in any time he spoke as Bruce Banner, there was that fear of the Hulk kind of behind him, and I think he portrayed that well of just the underlying fear just on a regular basis. And I think Mark Ruffalo is such a fantastic actor that he pulled it off no problem. So Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, the Hulk.
Absolutely did. Yeah, that's a good one. My next pick is not necessarily a superhero per se, but certainly has gifts and uses his for the most part for good when that comes about. Gotta go ahead and get my my Venom pick in here. His only competition was going up against Eric Foreman from that '70s show and Topher Grace. So as far as the bar, it wasn't hard to beat it. But Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock is exactly what I wanted. I don't even know how aware of Tom Hardy I was before the Venom movies started. I know he was in, like The Dark Knight or he was Bane and stuff. But upon seeing that first movie, he was absolutely everything I wanted. He was what Eddie Brock needed to be. He was charismatic. He was witty. He was a bulky guy. You know,
It's weird. It's like you're describing me. That's strange. That's strange.
But he totally brought what I needed as a fan of the character in the comics and animated things, and he is what I needed a live action version of Eddie Brock to be, and he's just nailed it spectacularly. And I'm just so happy that we've had those movies and that he's been able to carry on that character. I hope he continues to. I don't know how likely that is if they carry on and cross over with the Sony version of Venom into whatever they use him for in the future. But I just really pray that they keep Tom Hardy as a part of it, because I love his version of Eddie Brock.
Gen X Brian here from the Convincing Idiots podcast. If you're enjoying our show, tell a friend. And if you're not, well, tell two enemies.
Absolutely.
Good. Very good.
Brian.
All right. Well, you talked about Peter Parker earlier, Nick. My favorite Peter Parker, though, Tobey Maguire. Man, you mentioned his name. So
yeah, he was a very good one. He really
I'm
was.
with you. Tom Holland is a fantastic modern Peter Parker. Not taking away from it, like you say, he plays the role extremely well. And there's probably some, sentimental, to Tobey Maguire as well. You think back when those movies came out. Now, these are before, you think back, these are before the Marvel, this is before Iron Man and everything else.
Oh, yeah. This is like 2001, 2002.
Yeah, this is like they're putting Spider-Man on the big screen here. Let's not mess it up. And man, as we know, those first two movies were just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
Sam Raimi just
watched the same movie, but that's fine.
Oh man, no, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
those first two are, man, they're incredible.
As a kid growing up, as such a Spider-Man fan, reading the comics, I had Spider-Man everything. Spider-Man on my posters and toys, and he was just it for me. Just a very relatable character, young and just, it's just super appealing. And Tobey Maguire, they played that role so well. That was the Peter Parker that I remember reading in the comics. The nerdy, very smart, very awkward. And all of a sudden, just that thing happens to him, and he's still the nerdy kid trying to find his way with these superpowers. It's like, oh man, just the way he did it was so good. So happy to see him come back and reprise the role. He's going to continue to have a big role. I understand in these rumors anyway. As you get into Secret Wars and everything, he's supposed to have a prominent role in that as well, if the rumors are true. But anyway, very well done. And if those movies don't do well, it may not set up other superhero movies, which eventually got to Iron Man and everything else, So that's it. So close. It's very, very close between him and Tom Holland. It really is.
And when you even said like about him being awkward, I'm like, even that, like Tom, if you've got a scale, if you got the nerdometer, Andrew Garfield's not nerdy at all. Tom Holland is much closer to it. But yeah, like even if you're going with that angle with it, like Tobey Maguire was very believable as that nerdy, awkward, like even more so than Tom Holland even. But I mean, like you said, those first two movies, the second one, even for me specifically, I think was my favorite one with Dr. Octopus.
Yes.
That movie was fantastic. It really was good. And at a time when sequels you weren't expecting a lot from a sequel, that one was like, that was better than the last one. Like, it was really good.
I agree with you. Yeah. They're going to put those in the theater again later this year, all three of them.
Oh, are they? Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All three, though, huh? Even the third?
I would, it'd be fun to go back and rewatch them on the big screen. It really would.
Yeah.
I did it just recently, just for the first one, and I did not care for it.
Yeah.
At all. Like, it's a horrible movie.
That's great. That's weird. Yeah.
Just the worst acting. Fuck, it was awful.
Macho Man was in it and everything.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Dion. What's the next one you got?
Trying to shake Hulk Hogan's hand like this than what he did in that movie. All right, so We need some estrogen.
So you're not doubling up on Tobey Maguire then, or
I'm not.
okay?
I'm going the female route, boys. Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff.
Okay.
The Black Widow is when she's in Black Widow form or whatnot, and she's a badass from the first fight scene in the hallway where she's just beating the shit out of like 10 dudes. That's awesome. But when she's not doing that and she's just Natasha Romanoff, I give you what was it, the Endgame, just where she's trying to keep the Avengers alive and she's just strung out and it's her wit's end. That sort of vulnerability I love to see in acting, especially when it's not not necessarily what that character's known for. When she's breaking legs and snapping necks, and then you get to see her, her vulnerable side and her leadership side in that. So I enjoyed. I enjoy Scarlett Johansson in anything she does, but I really enjoyed her as Natasha Romanoff.
Very good.
Nice. For my next one, I'm gonna make my Batman pick now, my Bruce Wayne. This was hard. I've got 3 different names written down, and I only just recently finally came down on the one, and it is for Bruce Wayne, and it's probably an unpopular pick because he is certainly not people's favorite Batman. But as Bruce Wayne and the version of Bruce Wayne that he was representing to us, I absolutely thought Ben Affleck was an incredible Bruce Wayne.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that.
He had the misfortune of being in some god-awful movies as Batman.
Yep.
But when he was as Bruce Wayne, and whether it be, taking on assembling the Justice League, or even in Batman versus Superman, when you talked about, I believe it was the guy that played Daredevil, about like, it was believable that, he would be beat up. And you get a lot of those scenes of Ben Affleck as Batman when, he's just beat the shit up, and he's a regular guy with like, some cool armor and suits and gadgets, but he's a regular dude under there getting the absolute shit kicked out of him. And I just really liked Ben Affleck as that kind of
I agree,
that weathered veteran Bruce Wayne. And he was established enough to seem experienced in what he was doing, but also realistic enough and down to earth enough in the kind of comic relief that he brought to those roles as well. Like I said, not a fan of those movies that he was ever Batman in as films, but him as Bruce Wayne, the character, I thought he fit it.
In his own Batman movie.
It would have been interesting. Yeah, I would have liked that. I would have liked that. If you put Ben Affleck in a style of film that was that of like the Batman, that who also on it, he's a young Bruce Wayne, so I don't really think of him in that way. But there again, Robert Pattinson. Super impressed with. I was not hyped when they announced him, but I was super impressed. But I thought Ben Affleck was a great one. Little side shout out to as Bruce Wayne. I've always liked Val Kilmer in both of those sides of the role, but Christian Bale I thought specifically I did not like as Batman, but I did like as Bruce Wayne. So I had both of them written down, and at different times in the day they were going to be my pick. And then as I thought about it more, I'm like, you know what? I keep writing off Ben Affleck because of the movies he was the character in weren't very good. However, I thought if we're talking specifically about him in that role as that character of Bruce Wayne, I love Ben Affleck.
Tobey Maguire in the first Spider-Man was like Shakespeare compared to Christian Bale in any of those Batman movies.
No, that's not true.
I thought he did well I thought he was cool, but he was also kind of reserved, and I just thought he did that balance really well. I mean, I don't think he was enough of he didn't pass off the socialite aspect of it as naturally as some of the other ones did for me, but I thought he served well as he struck you as somebody who, like, your parents died young and you have money and you're just kind of cold to people and awkward, and
he is a bad actor.
Well, but his I liked his version. He was almost my pick too, Nick. He portrayed Bruce Wayne as also a character. That was not.
Yes,
that
he spent a lot of the time out of the suit.
Neither Batman nor Bruce Wayne was actually him. He was probably closer to Batman than Bruce Wayne. So Bruce Wayne was almost more of an alter ego than Batman for Christian Bale. So he purposely played off the ridiculous playboy showing up with two girls and flying a helicopter in and driving the fancy car to make it throw you off that like he couldn't possibly be Batman because he's such a playboy idiot.
Right.
He had those quiet moments, like the whole speech about Harvey Dent and things like that. He said that was more, the true Bruce Wayne, I guess, if you will. But then he purposely played up the playboy, drunken, buying restaurants and dating the ballerina. Is all a cover.
Yeah,
his Bruce Wayne was a cover for him being, his true self of Batman, which was an interesting take.
Yeah.
So anyway. Okay, one you guys probably don't have on your list here, but guy played this role for several years on television. Great version of Barry Allen, who's the alter ego of The Flash, Grant Gustin from the Flash television show. If you haven't watched that, I recommend. I don't even know where it is right now. It's on the CW. I don't know if you can find it on streaming. I don't even know, but it was on for like 9 seasons, something like that. I was an avid watcher of that show.
I do remember that.
Yeah, it's great.
Within the last, it's probably like 15 years ago.
2023
or so,
went off the air. Just a couple years ago. But they had the Arrow and they had the Flash, right? So and both were solid, right? But his version of Barry Allen, just fantastic. Again, he's just a regular dude that happened to get those powers, and it's a whole similar type of deal. Young guy struggling is the whole conflict of, I guess, friends knew who he was, right? But just I don't know. I just thought that he portrayed a young guy with that sense of responsibility and everything that he had going as the Flash, and trying to protect his family and everybody from, do I get too close? Do I don't? It's that whole angle as well. But just a very solid actor. When some people have called for him to come back and reprise the role of the Flash in the new DCU, I don't know if he'll get that opportunity or not, but whether he does or doesn't, he had a fine body of work in the Flash television show for several years. And, his portrayal, I'm sure, is one reason why it stayed on the air for as long as it did. Right. So check that out. Very, very good. I don't like the other. Who's the guy in the movies that played him?
Ezra Miller.
Yeah. And that's okay. That's just too goofy for me. I mean, I liked Grant Gustin was more of a confident, regular guy version of the Flash. I liked his portrayal. So that's it. So that's my top 5 anyway for me. Dean, what do you got?
All right, for my number 5, I saved the best for last. If you're thinking in an alter ego, if you're thinking of the coolness and the debonair, suave, sophistication. Sophistication is the key word in this. He portrays the art of sophistication in anything he does, especially when he's Bruce Wayne. Boys, I'm talking about George Clooney as Bruce Wayne. George Clooney is the definition of cool. He is bad Bruce Wayne. What?
Nick even hung up the phone. So upset.
His Batman wasn't the best. I'll agree. But as a Bruce Wayne, you put him in a tuxedo, and he is George Clooney in a fucking tuxedo. He is a playboy, the ultimate playboy. So I say the best last because he was the best Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Were you upset, Nick? Is that why you hung up the phone?
I just couldn't listen to the propaganda of George Clooney, and no. There's a guy at work that fucks me all the time because he knows how much I hate I've made like since that movie came out, I've spent the majority of my life disliking George Clooney the man because of that movie. Like I don't like I refuse to watch George Clooney movies that aren't him as Batman. I don't want anything to do with George Clooney because of that movie and
It's
him
not his
as
fault.
Batman. It's not because the movie. Well, I actually hated him as like there's something about he's not likable as that just. The whole thing was just yuck, and he's just.
Mhm.
I'm like, he's not even. But you're right. That's part because that was one of my gripes too. I'm like, he's not acting. He's not an actor.
Right.
That's just him. That's
he
just
was
George
just being
Clooney. He's just George Clooney.
And you found out, oh, George Clooney is
As Batman. As Bruce Wayne. Yeah. No.
I liked Bruce Wayne. Shit, Batman. It was awful movie, but as Bruce Wayne, you just show me a picture and you go, yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and there again, like you said, it's not really because even the same. I mean, even as Bruce Wayne, the dialogue between him and Chris O'Donnell, everything that was said, everything. I'm like, it all just gave me a big old fat case of the icks, just all cringe. It was all just terrible, and he didn't seem. He certainly was not any type of tortured as a Bruce Wayne. You didn't see that like
tortured
dark
being
side of him. They're just I was not a fan. I dislike George Clooney because of the Batman role.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guess we're standing on opposite sides of that.
That we are there. That we are.
Okay.
What about his humanitarian work? No, fuck you.
Whatever. Fuck that. No.
Terrible
fuck,
Batman.
He can
I
go
don't
fuck
care.
himself wherever in Venezuela or wherever the fuck he's doing. Fucking Ethiopia. I don't give a fuck. He can stay there. Fuck that.
He saves so many children.
Except for the ones that had to watch him as fucking Batman. Those are war crimes. Though that is a crime against humanity.
Wow. Just a shame.
And for my final pick, I am going to be this next one. He's had no competition in the role, but there never needs to be any other competition in the role, which is going to be hard to do going forward. But T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, King T'Challa was he was another one where they just knocked it right out of the park first try. I didn't know much of Chadwick Boseman going into Black Panther, but not only did he represent the character, the superhero well, but he certainly gave you the vibe that I would imagine they were going for in his not alter ego. I mean, who he was King of Wakanda, T'Challa, who was the leader that anybody would want, right? Like just overall very decent, very noble, just very genuine and caring. Like loyal and was a warrior and would do whatever it took to do right by his people. He was such an incredible version of T'Challa and the Black Panther that I just felt like there's just nobody that really there's nobody that even going forward. I mean, as if they go in, I mean, sure, there's always people out there. Someone will do the role justice, but there will only be one version of him like that, and I think he'll always be everyone's default T'Challa in their mind. So Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace, gone way too soon. Just an incredible job. So that's my 5.
Good. That's everybody's 5.
Fives are in.
5 it is.
Honorable mentions, Dean.
Just want to bring up George Clooney one more time. So good.
Please, can I just do an hour on how good George Clooney is in that role? Please. I had actually a lot of my honorable mentions were kind of an argument of some of the ones I had.
Yeah.
So, I went back and forth with Christopher Reeves. Obviously, Christopher Reeves is my number one, but I thought you'd pick him, Brian. So I, tried to go a little outside. If it wasn't for me trying to stir the pot, my Batman would have been Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two the ones where I was going back and forth on.
Okay. Nick, do you have any honorable mentions?
We basically knocked all mine out in conversation when we went over the different,
Yeah.
Batman, Spider-Man, and all that stuff. So, yeah.
I have two going all the way back to 1970s TV series. How about Diana Prince, the great Linda Carter,
Linda
Carter.
beautiful Linda Carter,
She was mentioned.
and Gal Gadot was a great Wonder Woman. I don't remember her really playing Diana Prince. I don't even know if she played her at all. Maybe
she did. Remember in
briefly?
the war scenes because she had right.
Maybe that's right.
No, maybe she came in as. Yeah,
I don't really recall a lot of her.
It wasn't enough to even really remember. In the TV series, Linda Carter had plenty of portrayals as Diana Prince, where I can't remember what she was working as, like for the military or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but anyway, a fine alter ego. And Bruce Banner also in the great Bill Bixby, the version of the Incredible Hulk television show. Bill Bixby, fine actor, just a different version of course, like you say, it was David Bruce Banner because they couldn't fucking handle naming a guy Bruce because it sounded too gay, perhaps, for television, which is ridiculous. I don't know what the reasoning was, which is that's the truth. Unfortunately,
see, I heard it was a dispute, like a contract, like they didn't have the rights or something like that.
Really, it was Incredible Hulk.
I could very well have my information wrong, but
what was too gay for TV? What was it exactly?
So Bruce Banner is the name. That's the name of the character.
Yeah, right.
On television, they couldn't handle calling him Bruce. Somebody didn't like the name Bruce. So they called him David, and Bruce was his middle name, David Bruce Banner, on the TV show, which is ridiculous. But anyway, his version of David.
Somebody that was able to make decisions at the television company had some unresolved issues with someone.
I'm sure. I'm sure that's what it was.
The name Bruce is just too gay.
What are you talking about? The guy's name was Bruce Banner. You can't have a guy named Bruce on TV. What are you, nuts? I'll just have his middle name. That's it.
But anyway. Bruce Wayne was, Batman's name was Bruce.
That's true. That is true.
And America's athlete, the straightest man ever, Bruce Jenner, was named Bruce.
Yes. Well, anyway, Bill Bixby's version of fine acting. He was a great actor anyway, and again, same type of deal. Tortured, really trying to keep his cool. He'd get angry. He knew he had to keep it calm. Tortured soul, roaming town to town, trying to
up and down.
So just a great version of Bruce Banner for sure. So that's it. That's what I got. Go ahead.
So I just threw into the Google machine.
Go ahead.
In the TV, The Incredible Hulk, 1978, the protagonist David Banner instead of Bruce Banner because CBS thought the name Bruce sounded too gay.
Interesting.
There you go. See,
both Stanley and Lou Ferrigno confirmed that rumor. Wow, that's
weird executives at the time.
Take that, guys out there named Bruce.
Yep.
They're questioning your manhood, sexuality. I don't even know what that is.
That's right.
Interesting. Okay. Never heard that.
If your name is Bruce, we appreciate you listening. We don't care what the hell.
How gay your name sounds.
Come on, Bruce. All you Bruces.
You can have the gayest name in the world. It could be Bruce or something even gayer if you can imagine it. We're fine with it.
That's right. That's right. Gentlemen.
Yeah.
We have done it.
We have. We've done a lot of things.
We have done it again. Yes.
Maybe not all the things that someone named Bruce would do, but we've done a lot of things. That's so why I can't get past what? Why is that Bruce? It's just another dude's name. Like what?
Like what name do you hear that go? No, gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Leslie, maybe.
I will not let you defame the good goddamn name of Leslie
I'm
Nielsen.
just saying, if you want to go that route and
That
be
was
like,
the
I mean,
manliest of men.
you could take
Mhm.
a name like a Leslie and be like, wow, you're a man named Leslie. That's odd.
Mhm.
Like that sounds feminine.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean it's gay. It just means like it's just that's such that like. But Bruce wouldn't probably make the first 50 names I could think of, 100 names I could think of that I'd be like,
Yeah,
I-
me and the boys are gonna go out tonight. You know, it's me, Chuck, and Francine. We're all gonna hit the town.
yeah, interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Bruce's and Bob's and Bill's and Francine's and Michelle's alike.
Mhm.
We are Convincing Idiots, and we thank you for sticking around for this episode if you have done so. And if you've not done so, be sure to find us on social media accounts by going to Google and typing in Convincing Idiots link tree. You can find all those links, and be sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, and interact with us in any way that you see fit, because that stuff helps us out quite a bit. You can also go to our website, which is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So, for this episode of Convincing Idiots, I am Millennial Nick.
The Zennial Dean.
Gen X, Bruce, Brian.
And have we convinced you that whether today you're being a superhero version of yourself or perhaps your alter ego, that any version of you should be joining us next week for Convincing Idiots?
Yeah, sitting outside listening, man. I mean, certainly people my age, Gen X and older. I mean, just a huge. It was like a good distant friend that you knew passed away. You just had that feeling. Just a good guy that you really meant a lot to you growing up. And it was like, wow, for me anyway, as a piece of my growing up, probably many too, but a piece of my growing up passed away. It was like, man, that's some of the stuff I was reflecting on as well, so.
And think of all the decades he had a fingerprint on. If
that's
70s, right. 80s, like
sure.
you're listening to his music in the 90s still, or your parent, like in my case, he was still making music, but his music was always around. My parents are listening to it, and 2000s and beyond, either your parents or your grandparents are, playing Ozzy Osbourne, and all these generations of people who've, heard his music throughout their lives. It's pretty incredible.
Absolutely.
Well, I think one of the most impressive things, there's a handful of artists, bands and whatnot that are part of like teenage boys' lives, where they come into and they find music and they find this artist, then they find this artist. Ozzy is definitely part of that teenage boy's life, where you find, oh, this is Black Sabbath, this is Ozzy Osbourne, you know what I mean? And so he is. I think that's what draws people that didn't grow up with him, in the Black Sabbath days or in the 80s, that probably still today you discover bands like that. He is definitely one of those bands. And I'm very grateful the idea that he got to get his flowers while he could.
Yeah.
Like his this whole gushing over him, he had a whole fucking stadium show for that, and he deserved it. So he got his flowers. He got to receive his flowers when he could, because there's so many artists that only get it when they pass. You know what I mean? Yes, they get praise and they have a rock and roll career, but they get that overwhelming like surge of love of like, this is what you and your career meant to the world. He got that, and I'm pretty grateful for that.
Yeah, it was just literally like a week and a half ago. So he literally was like at his own wake, more or less. You know what I mean? Like he got to be there for it,
Right. And that's incredible.
Which is very Ozzy anyway. It's a very metal way. It's like, of course he's there for it. You know what I mean? That's fucking awesome. Hey, did you like that video? You know you did, and we know you did. So stop screwing around and go like that video, subscribe to our channel, and join us for some more. Oh, wait.